Right now at 6, questions around who pulled the trigger after a shooting at a North Portland marijuana shop left 2 people dead.
I just heard about 10 loud pops of gunshots going across the street.
Plus, the search for a mother accused of new crimes after witnesses say she ran as her toddler lay dying from a suspected fentanyl overdose. Then, hope from the air.
Well, I could delay my trip and go make an effort, because I'm like, who else is going to try?
How a former NASCAR driver from Vancouver is answering the call to help people stranded by Hurricane Helene. And Friday Night Football heads to Autzen Stadium as the Ducks face a familiar foe in their Big Ten home opener. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco. We begin at 6 with 2 deadly shootings in the Rose City within just 4 hours. In one case, a man was shot and killed by police in southeast Portland. In the other, 2 people were killed at a cannabis store. Let's start our coverage there with Blair Best live in the St. John's neighborhood. Blair?
That's right, David. We're standing close to where the shooting happened here off North St. Louis Avenue. Once police got here after 9:30 last night, they found 2 people dead. Still no word on what led up to this shooting or who fired the gun, but police say someone they believe to be involved stayed on scene and is cooperating with them as this investigation continues. Just after 9:30 Thursday night, 2 people were shot and killed at La Moda, a cannabis chain on the corner of North St. Louis Avenue and Seneca Street.
I just heard about 10 loud pops of gunshots going across the street.
Right after I heard the gunshots, I heard sirens for half an hour, a ton of them.
Photos taken from inside the store and shared with KGW show bullet holes and tons of shattered glass. Phil Curtin is part of the cleanup crew.
Better us than somebody who was involved and becoming more traumatized from the experience.
The store's back pickup window also shattered from the shots. Next to it, a sign reads that due to a string of robberies, the front door closes at 9 p.m. This shooting happened about 30 minutes later.
It's a store with a lot of cash in it. It was around the time it was closing. It's kind of like a place that would get robbed eventually.
The Portland police have not said what led up to the shooting or if it was related to a robbery, only that someone they believe was involved stayed on scene and is cooperating with police.
It's stochastic violence, it's going to occur throughout the city, and there's just not a lot that you can do about it. You just have to accept it if you're going to choose to live in the city.
Yeah, sadly, that is the reality for many parts of Portland. Now, La Moda staff was on scene today. They wouldn't talk with us on camera, saying that this is a difficult time for them. Anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police. David?
Blair Best in North Portland there. Thank you, Blair. Well, let's bring in John Adams now live in southeast Portland's Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood. That's where police say they believe they shot a man they believed was armed. Let's bring in John now.
David, police responded to this apartment complex off of Southeast Lambert just after 12:30 this morning after they received reports of a man that was yelling, making threats, and possibly armed. Now, you can see from this video, the man was holding what appears to be a gun, yelling and acting agitated on the second story of the apartment complex. PPB tells us when officers arrived on scene, they set up a perimeter around the building, and a member of the Bureau's crisis intervention team tried to talk to the man. Then, just before 1:30 a.m., an officer shot him. Officers and EMTs provided aid, but the man died on scene. PPB says the man was armed with a .22 caliber air rifle and a knife. Police Chief Bob Day says incidents like this are difficult for PPB and the community.
And events like tonight here on this street corner, but throughout the city, are challenging all of us at a time where I think as a community we are striving to come together to mitigate some of these harms. But the reality is we have still a lot of work to do.
Detectives are now interviewing both officers, members of the community, and reviewing body cam video to piece together exactly what led to this incident. Now, one of the key pieces of information they are hoping to learn is when exactly it was determined the man was armed with a pellet air rifle and not a more dangerous weapon. Now, the officer involved in this has been put on paid administrative leave per standard procedures. The identity of the man shot and killed has not yet been released. David?
Yeah, a key question of what police knew and when. Thank you, John. All right, let's take you outside now on this Friday evening, where after a soggy start, we're finally seeing some patches of blue sky out there. 62 degrees in the Rose City. Helene Stevens is in for Matt. So, Helene, first things first, are we done with the rain for the weekend?
We are wrapping up. You know, we're going to see those lingering showers into the evening in some areas, but after that, this weekend is looking fantastic. And you'll see outside right now, looking at our Wells Fargo Tower camera, it's looking great out there. Sitting at 62, like you said, those winds only 5 miles per hour. Things have really changed from earlier on today when we saw all that rain pushing through our area. At this point, everything's really pushed off to the east. We saw around 3/10 of an inch of rain here at home. Places like Astoria, 7/10 of an inch of rain. So again, a rainy start to our Friday, but things change as we get into this weekend. So any place that's seeing the rain, that's ending tonight. By midnight, it's all over. Early tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at low clouds as well as a foggy start to our morning. Expect that dense fog. The good news is by the afternoon, it burns off, and then we're going to be turning drier and warmer. So take a look at those temperatures. Well, today we peaked in the low 60s. Tomorrow we're going to be seeing those temperatures a lot better. We're going to be seeing upper 60s by 2 p.m. Looks like even seeing the lower 70s by 4 o'clock. Sunday, even warmer. And after that, the week is going to be looking pretty nice. We'll talk more about it a little bit later.
Back to the 70s. Thank you, Helene. In your headlines, Portland police are asking for help finding the mother of a 2-year-old girl who died from a suspected fentanyl overdose last month. Police responded to a mobile home park in northeast Portland where they found the toddler in cardiac arrest. She later died in the hospital. Authorities say her mother, Mary Jacobo, walked away as the emergency unfolded and say since the girl's death in mid-September, carjacked someone at gunpoint and is wanted for other violent crimes. Police describe her as 5'5", 135 pounds with hazel eyes and say she should be considered armed and dangerous. Police in Tualatin are trying to see if there are more victims of a man accused of inappropriately touching children at a swimming pool. Brian Anderson was indicted by a Washington County grand jury Thursday on 2 sex abuse charges. Police say the incident in question was last month at the Orchard Hills condominiums. Anyone with information is asked to call Tualatin Police. Also in Tualatin, the mother of a first grader is suing the district for $350,000 after a teacher allegedly slapped her child multiple times in front of his classmates. The lawsuit alleges the teacher at Byram Elementary slapped the student at least 6 times to punish him for standing on a chair. This was in December of 2023. The teacher allegedly telling the administration and was put on leave, though ultimately was permitted to return to her job. She has not been charged criminally. The district declined to comment. And Kroger has issued a nationwide recall of certain salad kits like this, including those sold at Fred Meyer and QFC stores. That's because of listeria concerns. The kits were produced by California-based Taylor Farms with purchase dates between September 20th and October 3rd. Listeria symptoms include fever, muscle aches, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, and can be serious to those who are pregnant or have a weakened immune system. If you have these in your fridge, you can return them to the store for a refund or just throw them out. A week after Hurricane Helene struck the southeast, the toll continues to rise, with more than 220 deaths now connected to the storm and the aftermath. That makes Helene the deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland since Katrina devastated Louisiana and Mississippi in 2005. Today, Pacific Power deploying crews from Oregon and Washington to hard-hit Georgia, where nearly 200,000 customers are still without electricity. Utility is also sending 20 trucks and heavy equipment. Pacific Power says some areas sustained such extreme infrastructure damage that it will require a complete rebuild of the local power grid. Well, meanwhile, a former NASCAR driver from Vancouver is helping out in the recovery effort. Sydney Dorner's here. We should mention Sydney, instead of driving, he's actually helping from the air.
Yeah, Biffle is actually originally from Vancouver and known for his achievements as a NASCAR driver. This hurricane season, he's using his personal helicopter and social media reach to help those in need. Look closely for a reflection. This is footage of a man stranded in North Carolina, shining a mirror for help. He's one of many whose home was destroyed during Hurricane Helene.
The water pushed it in and it pushed in the back door, and within 30 seconds it went from the ground to neck level.
Former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle not only helped him, but many others in the same spot.
People are, way up in the mountains, in big communities. So the scale went vertical very, very quickly.
The Vancouver native is using his personal helicopter to fly over areas impacted by Hurricane Helene. delivering supplies to those who don't know what the next day will bring.
50, 100 volunteers, the place flooded with supplies, a line of cars a mile long at the airport dropping off supplies.
The 54-year-old started doing this alone, but has now recruited other NASCAR teams to lend a helping hand as Helene's aftermath continues to devastate thousands.
The roads are starting to open up, but there's no supplies in town. There's no gas. There's the grocery store, Ingles grocery store is gone. Walmart has probably 6 inches of mud.
Even distributing satellite internet devices to those who don't have service in Tennessee, Virginia, Georgia, and North Carolina as well.
I'm blessed to have a small helicopter and friends, about 50 or 60, obviously, that have helicopters. So I was able to spread the word on social media. All these guys came in and all the people came in on the ground. It's been a great thing. It's a great feeling to help someone out of that situation.
Now, Biffle has no plans of slowing down. He plans to deliver supplies and food there as long as people need them. Back to you, David.
Yeah, people helping people, strangers helping strangers. That's what it's about. Thank you, Sydney.